Hi, welcome to A Minute of Inspiration. You might be faced with a question sometime in your life, which is, am I living to my full potential? And almost everyone I know is faced with that question sometime or the other. And a lot of times you think of things that you can do or could have done, or a life that you could have lived, and you come up with some sort of an action plan, and some little tingle in the mind goes, oh, maybe I can't do this, or there's too much at stake, or maybe it's because of my family or a situation that I am in that I can't do it. Sounds familiar? Now, most people would be confronted with these two questions. Can I do it? Is the first one, which is a pure question of capability, and how the human mind tends to react to it as a very impulse defense response is maybe I can't do it. And that's what we believe, and then we go on living in the same way. But the second question is the one that actually stops you, which is, am I willing to do it? Right? And that willingness is a question of pure attitude. Now, in reality, I've met people, and more people than not, who have a ton of capability, who can do far more with respect to the skills that they have than they are currently doing, but they're not willing to do it. And I've also met a very small section of people who are almost willing to do anything that comes across, or they come across, or they're willing to try new things, but they may not have the capability, and they reach far greater heights than the other set of people. It's not the skill and the capability that stop you. It's the willingness or the attitude that stops you. It's not that you can't do it. The reality is that you won't do it, right? And that is what makes a difference on whether we achieve a life or live a life which is full of potential, full of possibility, or we live a life where we come to a stagnation point. And there's a very good reason for this, why the brain thinks that it can't when it actually, the reality is that it won't do. And the reason for that is, when you are early on in your careers, right, there is no thing or there is no thought that I won't do it. Whatever comes your way, whatever your possibility is, whatever your life takes you, or whatever the opportunities are, you just go full hog into it because there's absolutely nothing to lose. It's only when you've built a certain career or reached a certain level of progression that your mind starts to think on what there is to lose, and that's where the stagnation kicks in. That's where the mind starts creating realities or false realities like I can't do it and this is not for me, because in reality you are unwilling to risk paying a price. In early part of careers, no price to pay, go full hog, great speed, and boom, you will be able to achieve whatever you want. But sooner rather than later, people fall into this trap where they've achieved a certain level of success or performance, and now they're unwilling to take a chance on that because there's something to lose. And when we are getting guided by what there is to lose, there is obviously no way to see what is there to gain. When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you feel that you're looking at a person who's living life to the fullest? Or do you feel you're looking at a person in the mirror who could have done more? And the difference in that more or less is not a question of capability, it's a question of will. It's not whether can I do it, but it's a question of will I do it, and the will I do it comes with a little bit of price, a little bit of discomfort, but that's what separates a life which is being lived at the fullest from a life which is being lived at a mediocre self. The choice is always with you, and it's never a question, almost never a question of capability, but it's almost always a question of willingness.